find out from him, what do we do before infidelity starts? Like, what are the things? We may have touched on this the last time, but people are really like interested in knowing what they can do, if anything, to kind of like shield their relationships from that, from even coming in.
A lot of sex and being attentive. But go ahead, Pastor, what you were saying. A lot of sex though, and be attentive while you get them sex.
That's for a man. That's very important. And I think oftentimes, women make us feel shallow because like that's all you want, but all of our needs are different. And I think one of the things that can help too is being aware of how every blessing ends up moving us further apart, because infidelity often happens because the relationship is atrophying. People are separated. So when they get, they did all this stuff when they fell in love to get married, but then they get married, they get a house, and the house takes their attention, and then they have children. And as soon as a woman goes from wife to mother, there's a different whole energy you got to put into mothering a child and giving this child your time, and women are nursing the children and all of that. So utilizing babysitters, keeping the fun in the relationship is very important. Because if you did enough to get married, or if I say to a lady, because most women are concerned, but whatever you did to get a man, you can keep him that way usually.
Yeah, that's.
But a lot of stuff stops. It just stops from both sides. The man stops pursuing, the wife stops being creative, and all of that. And I think we have to be mindful of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of the ways you protect it. The main thing is having fun.
Yeah.
Making home a fun environment.
Yeah, and being intentional about it.
Yeah.
You know, being present.
Yeah. We talked about that just in our. We're very candid with our relationship. We were on the Duncan show last night, and we are very candid about things that go on with us. And one of the things we struggle with is what he just said. Being present. Like with me having so much stuff going on with work, he's like, I ain't got nothing to do with that. You chose that job, and and then kids and my mom's health and all kinds of stuff, and life.
Yeah. And
sometimes it just seems like my mind. I'm not present. I'm there, but not present, and so I have to work. I have to own my stuff, and I have to make sure that my relationship is not lacking because of that.
A lot of men want 3 A's, where they want 4, but I can't say what I'm going.
Y'all know what it is.
We got that one.
They want attention, appreciation, and admiration. So
y'all
attention,
got that?
being attentive,
Break it down.
being attentive, like, are you? Do you pay attention to me? Am I a priority? We want to still feel like we're your boyfriend. Like when you come home from work, before you go in the kitchen and cook dinner or take care of the dog, take care of the kids, do you go find him, where my boyfriend at? Like that matters to a man. Or when he comes in the house, like he's been in the house 10 minutes and nobody said, welcome home, like we've been waiting for you. That's big for a man.
Right.
Appreciation is saying thanks for the things he's done. Thank you for how you take care of our house. Thank you for how you protect us. Thank you for how you provide for us, those things. And admiration is thankfulness for who he is. Thank you for being a good father, for being a man of integrity, for being brilliant, for being creative. Like those things, like he wants the woman to be his cheerleader. And we all know what the 4th A is.
Yeah, we know what that is, y'all.
Praise the Lord.
Hey, so Pastor, you're intelligent. Like, I heard you say you went to Fairmont Heights again?
I went to Fairmont Heights.
So then, did you go to college?
Yeah, not really. I went to Prince George Community College for a while to study how I can be a comedian. I was just class clown. I ended up going to a place called Washington Bible College to do biblical training. But like when I was in 3rd grade, I had a high IQ. I took an IQ exam. I didn't even know what it was, and I had a high IQ, but I was just a clown.
Yeah.
And so, a lot of people didn't appreciate, man, this could be something. Like you could do something with this. I was just getting in trouble and beaten and punished for it. But yeah, so I didn't. My learning comes from reading and observing things, I think.
Yeah, but I could just tell that you very.
Yeah, very.
Thank you, man.
Guy. So let's get back to this side to God, because I got a bunch of questions.
I know. Well, we got a bunch of questions, but this is always happens because this is such a great topic.
How much time we got?
We got a little bit of time.
We feel like the hot seat. You see
we
me
still have an
sweating.
artist that's going to close the show out, so we got to make sure that we get to him. But listen, one of the other things, I thought this one was crazy. Says, can you mention that what is wrong with me and my husband being open with each other, and I've told him that if he wants to go get some side piece, he just needs to tell me, and if I want to go get a side piece, I just need to tell him. But if we don't agree to it, then we shouldn't do that. Is that one of the things that will prevent?
I know we talked about
I'm
that.
like, wait a minute.
We talked about that last time, right?
Wait a minute, Pastor.
Because because the thing is, it sounds good on paper, like you it's particularly for a man. You mean your wife tells you, just let me know? First of all, it's something in us that just ain't gonna do that. Like we can't tell her.
That sounds like a trick.
That sounds like a trap, right? Yeah. And then how often I gotta tell you what I do? I gotta give you details,
Right.
And then like if I'm a man, I don't know, just as a man, and I've given my wife permission to do that, and she come home, she'd be like, that was so good. Like I'm done.
That's where it's gonna go bad.
Yeah,
when she go out to do it.
Right.
Like we
That's
cool
what
on
I'm saying.
outside.
Like we both.
But if she do it,
I'm
it's
sorry.
going down.
We both have this opportunity. Like she be like, then you go say, well, how was it? It's I never. I can't even explain. Are you serious? Are you
Matter of
serious?
fact, me and you gonna have to take off sometime.
You need him to come over. I'm gonna need you to let you meet him so he can teach you some stuff.
See,
That's too
right.
much. I think it
yeah.
just gets too. I guess for me, I think I said something to you because I got a little, because you was like, well, if what man would say no to that? And I'm like, you should say no to that. Why would you even want another woman?
The first man that was offered to in Genesis chapter 16, his wife Sarah said, "Here's my handmaid. Her name is Hagar. You can have sex with her because I can't have these babies. I can't. There's something I can't do. She can do it." And he didn't say, "Sure, baby. We can wait on the Lord." He's like,
Abraham was like, so when we get started?
Like, right.
Hagar was bad.
And it didn't work. It worked for a while, but it didn't work. You know why? Because Hagar knew that she could do something for the man that that his wife couldn't. And I think sometimes that becomes messy. People don't stay in their lane.
Yeah.
Right.
And Hagar wanted wife level. She was. So the Bible says she started treating Sarah with disrespect.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
I'm the one got
Sarah's
the
like,
you.
yeah, I got the baby.
Yeah,
now
now
what you got? They got child support forever now.
Right.
And Sarah's like, you work for me. So I just think that was an example that is just, I don't know. I just don't think it'll work. Maybe people like Monique, there are people who do it.
I think you have to be extremely mature. I think that ultimately it will fall in your face. Something will go bad on one side or the other, or both. Either feelings get involved with the other person to the point where you look at the wife like she your side chick.
Yeah.
And now this other girl is more, because a side chick, me personally, I used to be a professional whore. Like, I was a single man. Mm-hmm. I didn't consider myself being a whore because I was not lying to the women.
Right.
I would say I don't want a girlfriend.
Right.
And for whatever reason, when you tell a girl that, they want to make themselves be your girlfriend.
Right. That was your move.
So they're going to compete with each other for it. And I was young. And so as you get older, like when you're young, you get trapped off in that. Like eventually it goes bad. Yeah. Some kind of way.
Somebody going to go crazy.
I had a girl show up. I was living in Crofton. And that's how long ago it was, like 90s. And this young lady showed up at my door and she did stab me in my side, but I caught her hand. But this is because I had a young lady in the house and I was honest and told her. I said, you can't come over here. I got somebody in here. She showed up at my door. Bam, bam, bam. Yeah. And so this is the lifestyle that you can create. But when you're young, you go through this. Yeah. But when you get old, I would suggest that this is something, what we call child's play. You should do that as a young man. Mm-hmm. Like in your young age, get this out the way. I know that's not morally what they say to do, but as a young person, people can say don't have sex and this and that, but at 16, 17, 19, 22, you're going to probably explore your body. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so I would say be safe about it, but definitely don't have multiples like in our day. It was different. Yeah. It was a lot different. So,
well, I want to get to another question from one of our viewers. Because I got this question like 8 times. Can we ask Pastor Battle, if once infidelity occurs, how do I stay with my husband? Like, I'm trying to stay, but it is very difficult. Every time I look at him, I start thinking about what he did, but I don't want to end my marriage. I really believe in it. Yeah, I always say there are 5 things you got to have to rebuild trust.
if these 5 things aren't in place, then I wouldn't tell her to stay, because it's
Okay.
going to happen again. The first one is an admission. If a man doesn't admit that he did it wrong, if he's still lying about it and saying he wasn't what you thought it was, and you already know it was, then, he's still hiding. The second one is there has to be accountability. Like, he's got to make himself accountable, and accountability means access to data. Like, you can't have a password she doesn't have, because usually all of the information is in the iPad, the iPhone.
It's somewhere.
Somewhere. So
I want to go back to that, but I'm sorry.
no, you're good.
But no, I want you to keep going, but I want to get back
Yeah,
to that.
get
what
his
you
5
saying.
points out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want you
so
to get
so
the
you
problem.
got to have an admission, you got to have accountability. Then you have to have what I would call amendments you got to make. Like, because even though a man may stop the behavior, he can't stop the emotions that made him behave that way. If he struggles with loneliness, emptiness, feeling rejected, he's going to still feel those things. So now he's got to find another way of medicating that pain. It may
Okay.
be hanging out with his boys, or going to a game, or picking up a hobby or something, spending time with his kids. But he's got to find another way, because you can't just sit there and think you're not going to feel the same stuff again. You have to be able to feel the same stuff and do something healthy with it. The other A word is called ambits, which are boundaries. You have to have something in your life that actually protects you from going back. And a lot of people aren't willing to do that. Like, they don't put boundaries in their life. And that can mean changing your number. That can mean blocking people on social media. That means unfriending people. It can mean changing jobs, changing churches. Like, you can't be around the people you were unfaithful with and everybody cool with that.
Right.
Like, y'all still going on trips together, y'all still having lunch
no.
together. Like,
Right.
what are the boundaries in place? And the last thing is, there must be an acknowledgement of the pain that I've caused for everyone. So I can't just say I was wrong. I got to really be in touch with this. Could have cost everything, and I'm grateful that you stayed. Now, what do I need to do to rebuild trust? Like, every day, being accountable, making sure you can never be missing. You can't be like, your phone dead.
Right.
Your phone can't ever die.
I can't die.
You can't ever die. You got to use somebody else's charger, but you cannot be inaccessible for periods of time, because that's the behavior that got you caught.
Yeah.
So go ahead with the
So
comment.
now, because in a chapter of your book, you discussed this very thing.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one, and we were
think
talking about it. This is why I said double back.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying we talked about it on the show before. You said your mate should have all your passcodes and that kind of stuff.
Once
And
there's
of
been
course-
infidelity.
Yeah.
Well,
once-
wait.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to compare prior to versus after infidelity.
Yeah.
Because I think that it's almost imprisoning a person, and I don't mean to use it that strongly, but it would make me feel imprisoned if I had never did anything to my wife to violate my marriage, and she still had these type of demands in an early going set of our marriage. Because I believe in independence. Like, when I
Yeah.
met Terry, I said, I don't want you to stop going out with your girlfriends on Friday nights if that's your
Sure.
outlet. I don't want you to do whatever that is, just do it with respect to your marriage.
Yeah.
But don't stop. They're still your friends. So I believe
I
in
like
that
that.
independence, right?
Yeah.
So I believe that if you go into it that way, it's almost crippling, because that's why men sometimes say, oh, you about to get married, oh, your life over. That kind of stuff,
Look
right?
at these as handcuffs.
Yeah.
These are handcuffs
Yeah, she
right
gave me
here.
a T-shirt with the handcuffs that said groom.
Locked down.
Yeah, locked down, right? And so that's what I mean. It makes men feel that way because of those things. Now, I do agree prior, like the aftermath of it all, if this is what you get yourself into, this is because you have now ill behavior. You can't be trusted.
Those are the consequences.
There you go. So now it makes sense
Yeah. And
that
you're
you have
saying,
to do that.
right, you're saying it shouldn't be in play. You shouldn't have to oblige by those boundaries if you've been faithful.
And you've proven yourself
proven
to be an
yourself.
upstanding man in your marriage,
Yeah.
or woman in your marriage. I believe personally that you should still maintain a certain level of independence as a person.
See, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that at all, Stan, and I understand the logic of it. I also understand that emotionally and psychologically, trauma produces triggers. And sometimes you don't have to cause the trauma to have to live with it. Everybody brings a history into the relationship. And even though you weren't the guilty one, you're married to somebody who has a history of infidelity in their past and hurt and distrust. And so sometimes your behavior might look, that's how Steve used to do.
Right.
Steve used to go just like this when he would be thinking about another. And you don't even know Steve.
Right.
And I'm saying we can ignore that and dismiss it, or we can be sensitive to it.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, if I don't have anything to hide, I don't need to hide it, right? But I think some of that is not, most of us don't marry anybody without some history. And that history, like, if you had the fact that you had somebody stab you who was upset with you, like that puts you on wanted. Like you don't want no woman walking up on you or whatever. Like you ever been? You see, you from the street, right?
Right.
You ever been in a fight? You've been in a street fight, right? Have you ever been stole before?
Yeah.
Snuck, right?
Yep.
Ain't that you only need one? Me too, right? All you need is one. Ain't you
Yeah.
paranoid out there?
Yeah.
Anybody get in your range? Like, man, don't walk up on me. Don't walk up on me, right? And that's because I've been cut before.
Yeah.
So you can't walk up on me. Now the new people around you, man, I was just coming to hug you. Yeah, but DeCarlo snuck me,
then,
man.
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So I'm still, you just can't get in my space.
Exactly.
Well, I gotta cut y'all off.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Look, hey,
I'm about to get in trouble.
Hey, Pat, we need 3 shows.
My man,
Look, we
I
got
love
so
it.
much,
I love
but
it.
we
I
got the young man. We got
Yeah,
the
got
we got
Dimitri in
So we gonna
here.
let him close. But look, if we can do it after dark for 2 seconds.
We
or something.
can. We can do a
But we got-
spotlight after
we got-
dark.
Yeah, because that's what we did. But if you could, we're gonna go ahead and bring up our artist, and we'll be right back after this commercial, and we're gonna get him on here.
Okay.
All right, spotlight over the city.
We go.
Man, we having a good time though. That's how